Hey everyone, quick little roster update here for some of the work I'm doing on my locomotives. These are all Athearn, primarily blue box and ready to run locomotives I've had for a while. All good condition, all pretty good runners as well. Right now I'm working on the lighting for them, which I'll talk here in a second, but I'm converting all these to DCC. So I've got various decoders in there. The Tsunami tube is pretty much my favorite one that I've been using, but there is another one here that I've been using as well. I can't remember the name of these, the make, but they still sound pretty good. The Tsunami 2s I still believe are the best sounding decoders out there, but I've been happy with these. And the problem is when you want to add sound to 8 locomotives, the Tsunamis get really expensive really quick. So these are $35 or something like that, so about a third the cost of one of the good Tsunami 2s. But anyway, the lighting, that's what I wanted to talk about now. So all these old Athearn blue boxes, of course, they had the standard little light bulb that sits up in the front of the locomotive, but obviously not using that, so I'm going to LED. So what I've been doing is I'm building these little boxes inside locomotives. You can see one there up front, and then one here in the back that actually hold the LEDs. And what those do is they prevent the light from escaping outside locomotive. So here's the one in the front, and here's the one in the rear. So I modeled both of these in SolidWorks, and then just 3D printed them in PETG, and I've been pretty happy with them so far. So LEDs, actually, I'm using I got a bunch of these cheap China, halogen replacement modules, basically. I bought these a couple years ago for like $3 or something. I was going to use them on my boat, but I decided against it because I didn't want to burn my boat down, just because they're very cheap. But the LEDs on them are good. And the thing I like about them is the LEDs are actually a very warm white glow. So it was exactly what I was looking for the locomotives, which is great because I glue them, right inside the little mounts right there. Got a couple examples here I haven't glued yet, I thought. Yeah, here's one here that's still drying. Let's take it off. Oops, dropped it. Sorry for the shakiness again. But you can see I glue it right in there. And then what's nice is in the actual locomotives, it fits right back really nice and tight at the bottom there in the cowling, and it lights up the the rear lights on them very well, along with the number boards. And then no light escapes, which is important up in the cab area, because without having that there, you light up the cab, which is what I don't like. So I've been happy with those. Now on the Athearns, the main problem you have when you're adding DCC to them is that there's nowhere really to mount the DCC board. This is an older one I had done here just with a standard sound controller, and just kind of velcroed it to the top of the motor mount, which works, but it's not ideal. So what I've been doing is I also designed these in SolidWorks. They're little mounts that go on top of the locomotives, and then it gives you a little platform in the back here to actually mount your board on. So you can see example here on 6042, I've got one sitting there. And what's cool is the actual little clip on top of the motor holds that in place. So you don't need to glue it. No, there's no other adhesive or anything like that holds on there. It just mounts in, clicks in there perfect. And then in the back, I set it down a little bit for the actual board. So on these, I've got the boards just sitting up here temporarily. It doesn't fit there though in the actual locomotive. And the reasoning is because on the Athearns, you got the little step up there where your dynamic brake module sits, and there's some weights in there as well. And that kind of cuts down into the locomotive itself, if you can see in there. It's not a great view, but it interferes with this basically. You don't have the full cowl height like you do like on the SD60 here. It goes straight through all the way down, so you got plenty of room to mount the DCC board up tall. Whoops. Careful with that. Alright, so this is cool because then it gives you, I can move this board back here and it'll set on this back area and have plenty of clearance for the the cowl to sit over it. Now for speakers, I've got a bunch. These little ones here work pretty well, among some others. But I've been playing with cell phone speakers a lot lately. So these are iPhone 6 or 7, I can't remember. But if you think about how good the audio is on your cell phone just through the speaker on it, it's outstanding. And these decoders sound really, really good with these speakers. So I've been absolutely happy with that. So, and they're really low profile too, if you notice. So, you got to trim some plastic off the sides here. Careful not to damage the actual acoustic, chambering here that makes these sound so good. But you can get these, pretty small and thin in size. They'll fit right in the locomotive really well, and will give really good sound. So my plan is to swap these around. I'll have these on top of the motor because they're really thin, and that will clear the space inside easily, and then move the actual decoders to the back little platform there. So that's where I'm at right now. Just a quick update. I've got a whole bunch in the works. Waiting on parts for another one here, and I should have about 6 of them done here pretty quick. I do have one Proto 2000 back here too that I need to work on. Proto 2000s I really like because they're so heavy. You can just see this big, basically cast block of aluminum in there. But to add DCC and get sound to all these, there's just not the room necessary. So what you actually have to do is mill some of this away, which is what I'm going to do. It'll remove some of the tractive effort from these, which makes them so nice. People like these locomotives because they're great pullers, especially when you're doing really long freight on grades. But it's not a concern for me. It'll still pull just fine. So in a future video, I will mill that down and make a little bit more room into there. So again, just a quick update on status locomotives. So hopefully that was interesting to you, and thanks for watching.